It's exactly this type of attack. The warhead disintegrates in the air, and dozens of smaller missiles head towards the ground. Intercepting them is virtually impossible. The consequences of such attacks are devastating. There is no question of a precision strike. Such weapons strike a large area and can leave unexploded munitions, which pose a threat to civilians long after the firing has ended.
We go to the shopping for Shabbat, everything was quiet, and then it was sirens. We ran to the bomb shelter. It was a couple of missiles that we heard the noises, and then suddenly it was like a big boom that we felt that it was very close. We felt inside the bomb shelter the noise, and we go outside and we see the damage that it was here.
Israel and the United States are responding with further airstrikes on military targets in Iran. Among others, B-52 and B-2 strategic bombers are taking part in the operation. Powerful bombs are being used, which are razing entire buildings to the ground. After completing the surprise opening strike phase, in which we gained air superiority and significantly reduced the capabilities of Iran's ballistic missile system, we are moving on to the next stage of the operation. Now we will consistently increase pressure on the regime's structures and its military potential. But in the background, there are reports of Moscow's actions that could affect not only this conflict, but also the global geopolitical situation. According to U.S. media reports, Russia is providing Iran with intelligence on the deployment of U.S. units in the region. Russia has been providing Iran with information on targets related to U.S. military assets in the Middle East since the outbreak of the war. This is the first sign that another major adversary of the United States may be involved in the conflict. According to sources, Moscow has been providing Tehran with the locations of U.S. military platforms, including warships and aircraft, since the fighting began on Saturday. The newspaper's sources requested anonymity due to the sensitive nature of this intelligence information. Some sources say that this may be information transmitted in near real time, allowing Iran to track the movements of U.S. forces. If these reports are confirmed, it would mean the transfer of data that could be used directly to plan attacks. At the same time, there are still conflicting signals about the possible opening of another front in the fighting. Iran has admitted to shelling the positions of Kurdish groups in Iraq, which, according to the authorities in Tehran, are conducting operations against the state. Some observers point out that Kurdish organizations may be drawn into the conflict on the side of Iran's opponents. Unofficially, Washington is said to have told Kurdish leaders that it is time to take sides. This would mean fighting within the country itself and the need to transfer some Iranian forces to the West.
And I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military and the police, to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death.
The situation in Iran is also becoming more complicated in the north. After yesterday's attack on the airport and school in Nakhchivan, the authorities in Baku have put the army on high alert and are increasing the military presence at the border. Iran's latest attacks have once again targeted energy facilities in the Persian Gulf region. In Bahrain, a missile struck part of the state-owned Bapco refinery. A fire broke out, which has been brought under control, but the plant is currently operating at reduced capacity. Problems have also arisen in Saudi Arabia following a drone attack. Operations at the Ras Tanura refinery, one of the largest facilities of its kind in the region, have been suspended. Disruptions are also affecting the gas sector. Qatar has still not resumed production at one of the world's largest LNG complexes.
One can only take a look at the news and be very, very worried. And we all know as soon as the price of energy, of oil, of fossil fuels go up, it has a direct impact on just about everything.
More explosions were heard in Beirut in the early hours of the morning. The Israeli Air Force struck the southern districts of the city, considered a Hezbollah stronghold. The Lebanese government is trying to avoid a catastrophic Israeli invasion and is confiscating the group's arsenal itself. France is to help by transferring military equipment to Lebanon. One such element is support for the Lebanese armed forces, which are to continue the process of disarming Hezbollah. This organization must lay down its arms. That is why France will provide the Lebanese army with armored vehicles to help it carry out these operations. While just a few days ago, there were reports suggesting the possibility of Washington starting talks with Tehran and attempting to negotiate an agreement. Today, Donald Trump has unequivocally cut short these speculations by stating that there will be no negotiations. The United States expects Iran to surrender unconditionally. More planes from the Middle East, including Oman and the United Arab Emirates, have landed at Warsaw Chopin Airport. Yes, we are very happy now. It was tough. There were some intense moments, but everything is okay now. Well, it took a long time. It was a bit nerve-wracking. I can't imagine what it would be like if someone didn't have the money to pay for the extra accommodation, because the costs are enormous. However, we managed to get the invoices, so we will try to get reimbursed. The government delayed its decision to support Polish citizens, many of whom were stranded at transfer airports, for example in Dubai. Initial statements by government representatives suggested that where it is possible to leave on normal commercial flights, I don't know if it would be appropriate to send special transports. A week after the start of military operations in the Middle East, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk convened a meeting of the coordination team on the situation in the Middle East. I have also received many signals that not everywhere are the people responsible for information and direct contact acting as they should. So I would ask, and here I am looking at Deputy Prime Minister Sikorski, that our institutions, but not only them, monitor who is working and how, 24 hours a day. Radosław Sikorski assured us today. Our institutions regularly post updates on social media and send text messages to people registered in the Odyseusz system. We have strengthened our consular staff. In the Middle East, 2 people in Riyadh, 2 people in Abu Dhabi. Are they actually sending text messages? No one has contacted us. We received an email from Odyseusz because we registered and were in Oman and Dubai, but no one contacted us. Perhaps tourists are not following the instructions. Prime Minister, if you allow me, I would like to appeal to all of you who are waiting for flights in various places around the world to strictly follow the instructions of our consuls and services. This is because we often have problems with communication and compliance with the messages we issue, so I would be grateful if everyone would follow the instructions they receive, as this will greatly facilitate our work. This is valuable advice, provided that the messages reach citizens, because contact with consulates is difficult, as Donald Tusk has also noted. And to all employees, everyone without exception, I urge you to ensure that these instructions and information reach people quickly enough so that they can be followed. Minister Grabiec rightly pointed this out, with a touch of sarcasm in the voice on Saturday and Sunday, and at night too. The Middle East is one of Polish people's favorite holiday destinations. International airports in Dubai and Doha are also transfer airports for travelers from Africa and Asia. Since the beginning of the conflict, approximately 6,000 flights have been suspended, which translates into hundreds of travelers stranded at airports. Some of them are waiting in hotels, others at airports. There was general panic. People didn't know what to do. We wanted to buy flights on our own, but that was also difficult. Under pressure from public opinion and the media, Donald Tusk recognized the need to evacuate citizens from areas threatened by the war. However, most of the returning Poles indicate that they did not receive any support from the government, neither information, nor interest, nor assistance. Was there any contact with the Polish consulate? No, I did make a reservation, but it's just a sham. A complete disaster. No response, nothing. No one contacted us. Nothing, no messages. We didn't receive anything on our phones. Nothing at all. It is estimated that several thousand Poles remain in the Persian Gulf countries, many of them waiting for help to return home. Today, the Polish airline LOT decided to suspend flights to Dubai until March 11th inclusive. Hungarian authorities have released footage of anti-terrorist forces stopping Ukrainian vehicles transporting money and gold through Hungarian territory. Armed anti-terrorist officers jump out of a van as Ukrainian vehicles pull into a gas station. They point their guns at the windshield and then handcuff the people inside. On the 5th of March 2026, we detained 7 Ukrainian citizens, including a former Ukrainian intelligence general, and 2 armored cash transport vehicles carrying a total of $40 million, 35 million euros, and 9 kilograms of gold from Austria to Ukraine. This year alone, more than $900 million, 420 million euros, and 146 kilograms of gold bars have been transported through Hungary to Ukraine. The government in Budapest is demanding detailed answers regarding the transit of cash through Hungary, why banks do not settle accounts with each other by bank transfer. Demand an explanation as to why Ukrainians were smuggling such a huge amount of cash through Hungary. What is this money being used for? Whose money is it? Could some of it remain in Hungary and be used for political purposes? The Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs responds that those detained are employees of Bank who regularly transported cash between Austria and Ukraine. Kiev has already sent an official note demanding the immediate release of its citizens. Today in Budapest, the Hungarian authorities took 7 Ukrainian citizens hostage. The reasons are still unknown, as is their state of health. We have no contact with them. They are employees of a state bank. The Hungarian authorities took hostages and stole our money. This is state terrorism and extortion. The Ukrainian's lawyer talks about the scandalous procedure that has surprised everyone. I am trying to get to them, but there is total chaos in this case. On the one hand, the embassy, or rather the consular service, must have access to the accused in every case. They cannot be denied this. And on the other hand, the defense lawyers must also be able to contact the accused. Prime Minister Viktor Orban announced today on Kossuth Radio that the transit of goods to Kiev will be suspended until oil supplies through the Druzhba pipeline are resumed. We will not support Ukraine because this is not our war, as long as the Ukrainians do not allow the flow of oil, which according to an international treaty should flow through the Druzhba pipeline, and continue to blackmail us. They cannot expect us to make financial decisions in Brussels that support them. The Ukrainians will run out of money before we run out of oil. The diplomatic dispute is full of dramatic allegations, including alleged threats to kill politicians and the unlawful detention of Ukrainian citizens. We hope that no one in the European Union will block the 90 billion for weapons for our armed forces. Otherwise, we will give the person's address to our soldiers. Let them call him. Let them talk to him in their language. The Hungary-Ukraine dispute escalated in January after the Druzhba pipeline, which transports oil from Russia to Hungary, was damaged in a Russian attack. Budapest accuses Ukraine of deliberately delaying repairs and blackmail. It also threatens to veto the EU sanctions package against Russia and loans to Kiev.